Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Samsung's Book Cover Keyboard Slim. Now this accessory is compatible with a bunch of different Samsung tablets. Now the specific model I have over here is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra Book Cover Keyboard Slim. And there's also another variant of this accessory which is just called the Book Cover Keyboard. And that one has a trackpad over here. So it's similar to a laptop. That's basically the non-slim version. And if we do look at the side, it is pretty slim. Now, before I give my overall thoughts and opinions on this device, I'm going to show you the features. So this is our main typing area, and we have a dedicated AI key. Now, based on my research, the AI key is only available on specific devices. So for example, if you were to buy this keyboard for the S9 series, it doesn't come with the AI key. So it's more on the recent iterations of the keyboard. And basically, the only thing it does is it opens up the AI. So if you're prone to using Samsung's AI, then this will be useful. Otherwise, you can still open the AI a different way. So one highlight of this type of design is there are no batteries. So you don't need to charge anything and you don't need to replace any batteries. So if you've ever experienced like some of those wireless keyboards, then you'll know how they easily run out of battery and you'll end up with a non-functioning keyboard, or same with like a wireless mouse. Well, that won't happen with this keyboard since there are 3 pins over here that directly connect to the tablet for power and data. However, there is one downside to this sort of setup, and I'll get to that later on in the video. We're going to flip it around. So this is the bottom of the keyboard. One of the other highlights is it is slim and lightweight, but it will also protect your device. So it's not a full-on case since the sides of your device are exposed. There is no protection for the sides. However, it does protect the top and the bottom of the tablet. So it's a sort of hard material on both sides. But as you can see, it's still prone to getting scratched. And we do have this sort of case or enclosure for the S Pen. So once the S Pen is inside, it won't fall out and it can still wirelessly charge without any issues. Now I'm going to install this onto the tablet. And you might find this interesting, but this is actually a Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, so not the S10 Ultra. And of course, the keyboard is for the S10 Ultra. So the tablet itself is like a year older compared to the keyboard, basically. Okay, see how I mentioned this connector earlier? This is the main downside. Once the tablet is connected to this sort of mechanism, there's no way to adjust the angle. And that's the biggest downside that like I've experienced with this product. So for example, if you're typing on your desk, like even right now, this is the only angle that the tablet is at. And this gets really annoying because of course we don't have our trackpad. So if you want to touch the screen, it's quite far and you'll end up having to like move your hand around. Plus, if the tablet's on your lap, it's not the most ergonomic thing and you can kind of get outbalanced. So it is durable and lightweight, although the material is flexible. So you just want to take some extra care so you don't damage it. And here's a closer look at our dedicated AI key, which is one of the highlight features of this specific model. So you can just choose which app to open with the AI key. So we can select Gemini, for example. And then the AI key will just take us to our AI assistant. This is Google Gemini or Gemini. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's all it does. Now, one other thing you might have noticed if you're a Samsung tablet user is this tablet is now running a different interface. So once you connect it to the keyboard, it will automatically switch to Samsung DeX. And there are a few different options that you can configure. But personally, I have it set to this so that whenever the keyboard is connected, I have a PC-like experience where I can open apps with multiple windows compared to just having the standard tablet mode. There's also a button over here, so we can press function and DeX, and that will take us back to our standard tablet mode. So once you remove it, we have a regular tablet. Once you connect it back, you'll see that it switches back into our DeX mode. Now for the S Pen, if you want to store it, of course, you can always place it on top of your tablet. But if you want to charge it, then you can go over here and open this little flap. Then you can still access the wireless charger and your S Pen is protected. Plus, it has this sort of an enclosure so it won't fall out and get lost. So here's the top of our book cover keyboard Slim. The S Pen has this sort of enclosure. And I also noticed that you can remove this plastic piece. I'm not sure if that's meant to happen, but it's really, really easy to remove it. Let me show you what I mean. So if we just press a little bit, like it will pop out, and then you can now access your S Pen without this sort of cover. It's actually more convenient if you're using your tablet. But then if you want to travel, you can place this back. Again, I'm not sure if this is an official feature or if mine is just loose, but it's super easy to remove and it just snaps back into place. And then we have like this sort of material. I have no idea what material this is. However, I did notice that it gets scratched really easily. And also, the same thing happens to the bottom. Now, overall, it is a decent typing experience. But my biggest concern with the keyboard area is that there is no backlight. So other keyboards, like the ones from Apple, for example, they do feature a backlight. So if you're typing in the dark, the keyboard will light up, compared to this one where if you're typing in the dark, the keyboard is just dark as well. So you can't actually see what keys you're pressing. And also, there is no adjustment, like I mentioned earlier, so you're stuck with this angle. So apart from those two complaints that I have, where there's no adjustment and there's no backlight, it's a pretty great keyboard. And the typing experience is also good. Here's a quick sample. This is what it sounds like to type on the book cover keyboard Slim. The key travel is good and it does have some tactile feedback with some noise. Let me go closer so you can hear what the keys sound like. They're very clicky. So overall, apart from my two complaints, it's a pretty good keyboard. And I'd highly recommend buying it if you're looking for a keyboard to specifically type things on. And what I mean by that is, if you want to use your tablet like a sort of laptop, then you should probably be looking at the book cover keyboard, the non-slim version, since that features a trackpad. But if your main goal is just to type things, then this is a decent keyboard. So this is what it looks like to carry around. Now it will prevent scratches on the surface of your tablet. So the top and the bottom are covered, but it's not a full-on case. So the sides are still exposed, meaning if you do drop your tablet, it will probably suffer some damage. But I think this is great for most people. At least you don't get the bulk of a case since the tablet is already quite heavy. And it's nice to put into your bag. So if you have other items in your bag, then they won't be like messing up the surface of your tablet. Plus, we do have our S Pen sort of enclosure or holder, so your S Pen doesn't get lost. And it's charging at the same time. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. And if you want to buy one of these keyboards, again, they're compatible with a bunch of different Samsung tablets. I'll leave an affiliate link down in the description below that has no extra cost to you. But by purchasing from that link, you will help me and help support the channel. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave them down in the description below. And please like and subscribe for more and also for the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.